Cleveland, a city by the lake. Northeast Ohio, home of the Indians. Cincinnati, a city by the river. Southwest Ohio, home of the Reds. It's not just another series when these two teams get together. And it's taken on even greater importance this year, with both teams needing wins. Both teams battling to stay in the playoff picture. And both teams trying to prove who's the best in our state. Starts next on Sports Time Ohio. Welcome in to Indians Live, brought to you by your Northern Ohio GMC dealers. Today, the Cincinnati Reds open up a 4 games in 4 days series. 2 here in Cleveland, 2 in Cincinnati. Jason and Jensen are joining me here. I'm Al. They're laughing at me right now. I don't know why.
We would never be laughing at you.
We're laughing with
It's the Battle of Ohio. How about it?
Let's go. It's the battle for the Ohio Cup. That's a big deal today. We'll talk more about that as we move along. Indians and Reds. Game 1 of a 2-game home series and then 2 games in Cincinnati. We're going to take Indians Live on the road, too, to Cincinnati. Hi again, everybody. Al, Jason, Jensen. Hi, guys. How you doing?
Good. Well, hello, Al.
How you doing? Everything good?
Everything is perfect for me.
All right. Everything good for you?
Absolutely perfect for me.
All right. Well, let's give you 3 things you need to know heading into today's game against the Cincinnati Reds as the Indians try to win their 4th straight here today. First up, Corey Kluber. He's been great. His last 2 starts, 18 innings, no earned runs.
Unbelievable. This guy has become the true ace of the Indians. One of the best pitchers in baseball right now. When you watch his fastball, he controls it all day long. The breaking ball, the cutter. Now he's got the changeup mixing in. You have a 4-pitch pitcher that's getting the job done.
Next thing you need to know heading into today's game, the Reds have had a tough time scoring this year. Should bode well for the Tribe, obviously, in these next 4 games.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about this starting staff for the Indians, they're going to have the ability to capitalize on this. But also the Reds starting staff, they've had the 2nd lowest team ERA since June 25th. Going to be a good battle all the way around.
And the third thing you need to know, in just a few moments, there's a rumor we will get to see this with Katie Witham. But the battle for the Ohio Cup, it's happening right here, and the Indians do lead the all-time series in one that's been pretty close.
Yeah, and they've actually won the last 7 interleague series they've had at home since they swept the Reds in 2012. They'll look to continue that momentum here tonight.
So the Indians against the Reds here today. They've won 4 of 6 on the homestand, and they've won the last 3 as well. So this is a hot baseball team right now. They're finding ways to win. A blowout win on Friday, close win on Saturday, comeback win yesterday that they probably shouldn't have won, but they found a way.
This was huge. I mean, you watch what the Indians did yesterday. Yu Darvish was great. I mean, this guy did everything he needed to. But then you have a guy by the name of David Murphy. You have another guy by the name of Michael Brantley that stood up and said, you know what? We're not going to lose on our home turf.
The smooth operator coming through in the clutch. Yet again, it just seems like he's up whenever the Indians need him to make a big moment happen. He did it again yesterday.
It's our Subway fresh play of the day. Michael Brantley in extra innings. The 12th, the 3-2 pitch. No doubter. That was a line shot to right field.
Little Jimmy Edmonds back kick right there, huh?
This is when you say, hey, welcome to the big league, son. Phil Klein, not feeling good.
No, Phil Klein, the former Youngstown State Penguin, he had a rough weekend here in Cleveland.
I don't think he wants to come back to Cleveland.
Probably not.
Yeah, no, rude homecoming.
All right, well, the Indians and the Reds here today. The Reds, though, they're a team who come in with the identical record as the Indians. They took 3 of 4 in Miami, so both these teams are in similar places. The Indians 3 games out of the wild card. The Reds 3.5 games out.
Yeah, they're playing with a sense of urgency now, and with the Indians taking care of business against Texas, the mindset of the Reds coming in has to be, we're going to try and split this series so we can get back home to Great American Ballpark and be able to take care of business at their home park.
Let's take a look at some news and notes now on the Cincinnati Reds to familiarize yourself with the National League team here. And, you know, again, the exact same record as the Tribe, but this shows you some of the differences. Their offense has struggled, but their pitching staff, especially their starters, very good this year. Very good lately, too.
1 through 5. It does not get better than what you look at in the Cincinnati Reds from a National League perspective. You look at the ERA as a whole, they've done a very nice job. They come in, they pound the strike zone, they have 4-pitch pitchers. When you have a kid by the name of Homer Bailey that's anchoring that bullpen or starting staff, and then you have Johnny Cueto that is that leader, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, for me, it's the Cuban Missile in the back end. And when you have Aroldis Chapman coming in, just firing 100-mile-an-hour fastballs all night long, and the Jonathan Broxton, Sam LeCure, Manny Parra, this is a complete bullpen now when they're healthy, and I think that's going to be a difference maker in this series.
Well, the Indians and the Reds, this series, an important series for both clubs, really. We'll see how this shapes the rest of the season as we move on. But this is more than just a series for perhaps some October implications. This is also for the Ohio Cup. What do the Tribe players think about trying to win the Cup and keep it here in Cleveland?
Well, I remember my first couple years in Cincinnati. I think it was one of the first years that they came up with the Cup. So, it's exciting. It's it's one more reason to go out there and give it your best. And I think it's a big deal for the fans with the cross-state rivalry. And so, it should be interesting.
Yeah, we want to win it. Obviously, you want to take as many games as you can and try to go out there and win, and hopefully try to bring it home.
Interleague play is fun. It's fun for the fans, I think, in a series like this. But, kind of like I said yesterday after the game, I think we're at the point in the season where each game is vital, and we're taking each day, one day at a time.
We're very, very excited. For me personally, it's my first time, so I don't know what to expect. I do know that Scott Atchison himself started at Ohio, so I think he's really, really pumped about this. But yeah, I've played the Reds before, but never in Interleague, so it'll be exciting.
I didn't know that about Atch. I mean, he's 5-0 this year, but he started Ohio.
He's a running mate with William Howard Taft, apparently. Unbelievable.
He was part of the Independents. I mean, you look at Scott Atchison, just a special guy when he's been around that long.
Poor Atch. Poor Atch indeed. All right, so the Indians and the Reds here today for the Ohio Cup. I believe that Katie Witham has found the Ohio Cup. Katie?
The Ohio Cup is really a thing, and I have found it. It has been inside the ballpark here at Progressive Field for the last couple of years. I know everybody said it was a myth, but it's not. As you can see, it's sitting next to me. Now, the most interesting thing about this is its history, guys. It started back in 1989. It was originally played as just one game. A few days before the regular season started, it pitted the two Ohio rivalries, the Cincinnati Reds against the Cleveland Indians, and it was played down in Columbus, Ohio at Cooper Stadium, the old home of the Columbus Clippers. Then, in 1997, when interleague play started up, it became a full-blown series. That's where it stands today, and this trophy, well, it hasn't gone anywhere in a while. In 2011 was the last time that we had a winner of this series. It was the Indians, and then in 2012 and last season, they split. Therefore, it stays right here in Cleveland. Now, John Axford did ask the actual trophy, can we drink out of it? As you can see, I think we can, and my response to him is we will, because I think that this trophy is going to stay here after this series. What do you guys think?
That's a good question, Katie. What do you think?
I'm saying yes right now. You win tonight, you win tomorrow night. All you got to do is win one more.
I just want to know what they would drink out of it. Would it be
cranberry juice?
Root beer?
Cranberry juice.
Okay.
How about water?
Sprite.
Little Stanley Cup action?
Sure, why not? Sprite.
Maybe milk.
Okay, fine.
You can do milk.
Coming up next here on Indians Live, Corey Kluber is on the hill tonight for the Tribe. Why has Corey been so good? We'll go in depth with why this guy has become the ace of the Tribe pitching staff. Keep it right here on Sports Time Ohio. Indians Live is brought to you by GMC. Visit your Northern Ohio GMC dealer for a test drive today. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by Wendy's. Tribe and Reds here tonight at Progressive Field playing for that, the Ohio Cup. Look at that.
The Stanley Ohio Cup.
You guys played for this when you were a member of the Tribe.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
We put milk in it when we won.
That's what I thought. Indians Live happening right now here at Progressive Field. We're out just above the Indians bullpen as we are for every Tribe home game right now. Pre and post game. Glad to have you along as well. Tonight for the Tribe, Corey Kluber is on the hill. Their ace, and Corey Kluber this year, guys, he's been outstanding, but he's gotten even better lately.
170 strikeouts against 33 walks. I know we say this a lot, but it's RBI baseball numbers with him. And I think it's the consistency of not only his release point, but his mechanics have been sound all year long. And when you're able to do that, start in and start out, there really hasn't been a lull for him all year.
Yeah, very much so. When you watch this guy pitch, it's what he does the other 4 days that impresses me. He is about a work ethic. And when you have work ethic like Corey Kluber, you hope that the other 4 starters follow suit. And they've started to. Danny Salazar pitching better, Trevor Bauer pitching better. That's what you're looking for in an ace.
How impressive has Corey Kluber been? He's got some pretty good company here that he's keeping with these numbers.
Wow.
They're incredible numbers, and I mean, he's with guys who are going to win the Cy Young.
And how did he not make the All-Star team again?
That's a great question.
Everybody
We've been asking that the whole month.
Black magic.
Jeez, oh man.
It's unbelievable.
That's pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive. So Corey Kluber goes tonight for the Tribe as the Indians try to win their 4th straight. Corey's breaking balls this year, it seems no matter what he's throwing, whether it's a curve, a slider, a cutter, even the fastball, they're all live, they're all sharp. He has great command of all of them.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, when we are able to watch Corey Kluber throw on a consistent basis every 5 days, the fastball is great, the cutter is great, but for me, it's the breaking ball. When you are able to throw this breaking ball and you're able to command it in the zone and then keep it out of the zone, you can see right here, it's got late break to it. It looks like a fastball coming out of his hand. It's so tight, all of a sudden it falls out of the zone. That's the biggest key that I watch on a consistent basis. Right here, we're able to see it down and in, and then we're able to slow it down a little bit and freeze it. You can see where the red mark is right there. It looks like it's in the zone. By the time it gets to the plate, it's out of the zone. Unbelievable stuff that you see that Corey Kluber possesses.
And you think about sequencing to right-handed hitters against left-handed hitters. For a right-handed pitcher to be able to put the ball down and into a left-handed batter's swing, where usually you're going to get hurt, it's been really, really awesome to see him be able to dominate, start in and start out, hitting those locations.
On the other side tonight for the Cincinnati Reds, this is a team that has some great starting pitching. They've gotten some great defense this year, too. Their offense has struggled. They started the season struggling, but their defense and their pitching is what's put them in the position they're now in, where they can still make it to October. But here's some numbers for what the pitching and defense has done for Cincinnati. If they're even an average team with their pitching and defense, they're nowhere near playoffs right now.
No question about it. When you had Aroldis Chapman out for at least a certain part of this season, you had to go through Jonathan Broxton, who wasn't really automatic like Chapman's been in the closer's role. You have a bullpen now that's getting healthy at the right time. And when you have 50 games left and you're trying to win down the stretch, especially in a big wild card race that the Reds are in, you're going to need a healthy bullpen. Just like the Indians, they need Brian Shaw and Cody Allen to keep throwing effectively. Same thing with the Reds.
All right, the Indians of the Reds. It's here tonight at Progressive Field, the start of a 4-game set. 2 games here in Cleveland, 2 games in Cincinnati. Yesterday, David Murphy was happy with the home run, but why he wasn't happy with the double. We'll tell you about this. It's an interesting story. You won't want to miss it. Keep it right here. Indians history now, brought to you by your Northern Ohio GMC dealers. We go back to '96. The Tribe scored 11 runs in the 8th inning, all with 2 outs on their way to a 14-2 win over the Orioles here at Jacobs Field. The top of the 8th, Kenny Lofton scaled the center field fence to rob B.J. Suroff of a go-ahead 2-run homer. Indians Live is brought to you by GMC. Visit your Northern Ohio GMC dealer for a test drive today. And by Hear Right Audiology. Isn't it time that you hear right? Warm night here tonight in downtown Cleveland. Not too hot. We've had it worse, but right now 80 degrees. The humidity is fairly low. Winds are calm. It's partly cloudy right now. Not a bad night at all for a baseball game here in Cleveland.
Perfect night for a W again.
That'd make 4 in a row for the Tribe.
That would be nice.
That would be good indeed. Welcome back here to the show. Al Pulowski, Jason Stanford, Jensen Lewis. Guys, how about David Murphy yesterday? I mean, great job defensively in the outfield, but at the plate, too. This guy is hot right now, and he had some huge hits yesterday.
This is something we've wanted to see from him since he came over from Texas. Yesterday, he's just continued to do the same things he's done the past week. It's been incredible to watch, and a guy coming up with a huge swing at a time they critically needed it. That's what it takes to extend winning streaks.
You love watching stuff off the offense, but as a pitcher, you love watching defense. This guy came in, made a great play, but even more so, the play against Chris Jimenez later on in the game. To be able to run down a ball like that, Just awesome. Just helps you save.
So David Murphy, always happy to hit a homer, but why yesterday was even more special to him.
That was fun. The best part about it is obviously it was great to tie up the game, but today's my daughter's 7th birthday, and it was funny. After I hit the double off the wall, my first at bat, I was, obviously I love a double anytime, but I was kind of mad at myself because I wanted to hit her a home run on her birthday. So it's fun to be able to do that on a day like that for her. It makes it special.
Well, it's one thing to have a couple of guys hot in the lineup, but now when you get more, like David Murphy, it makes it even better. His last 12 games, he's a 400-plus hitter.
Yeah, this is huge. Anytime that you can start getting guys at the bottom of your lineup hot, that's what you need. It's one thing to say, hey, the guys at the top of the lineup are going to do their part. But when you start having guys at the bottom of the lineup do their part, this makes a full team.
Yeah, one of your favorite guys in Yan Gomes and Murphy combined 21 homers on the season at the bottom of that lineup. That's turning things over and keeping the run production going for the guys up top.
One of the more interesting stories this year with the baseball season, that second wild card, is how many teams are still in it. We're in August. There's a bunch of teams that are still in it. Cincinnati and Cleveland are right in the thick of this wild card race. Let's take a look at the standings. First, the American League wild card. 3 days ago, the Indians were 6 back. Now they're only 3 back.
Well, we have our crystal ball here in the middle of the broadcast booth.
What does it say?
I think Stanny picked St. Louis to win the division and Pittsburgh to finish second or to get the wild card.
To get the wild card.
Okay, and I picked St. Louis to win the division and Milwaukee to get the wild card. So I like where I'm sitting right now.
Well, that was the American. Here's the National League. Now, you want to go through that again?
Yeah, we can do that again.
Here are the Reds. They're 3.5 back. But the other key here is really 2 spots are still up for grabs. Where in the American League, be awfully surprising if the A's or the Angels don't get the top seed.
Yeah, one of those teams is going to win the AL West, which is fine. But when you look at the Indians, what they've been able to do, by sweeping the Texas Rangers and doing their part, you're beating up on teams you're supposed to beat up on. Tonight's going to be a big game for the Indians because you're playing an American League-style game of ball. That's what you have to look at playing at home.
Well, and you have to take care of business at home. Not only that, but you have to beat teams that are good. And if you're going to do that, it starts tonight with Cincinnati. They're going to have their chances against the Yankees coming up soon. But we talk about all the time, if you want to go deep in the postseason, you got to beat the really good teams in both leagues.
And the Indians this year have had some trouble with injuries. Michael Bourne is out right now. Nick Swisher is day-to-day. He's not in the starting lineup, but the Reds have really missed some key parts. Without Votto, without Phillips, it makes it awfully difficult. Then you've got the 3 pitchers, too. But, to realize they're missing these guys, yet still be in the hunt for a playoff spot, it's pretty impressive.
The middle of the lineup, when you lose your 3 core hitters, completely gone. You're trying to just survive with, staying above water as much as you can, and it's tough. You've got power guys that are on the DL right now. You've got bullpen guys that have not been able to step up because they're on the DL. It makes a big difference when you're just 1 game above 500.
It's the same thing with the Indians. If you don't have Michael Bourne and Nick Swisher healthy for a full season, and you've had to deal with what you've had to in the rotation with inconsistencies, to still be able to have a chance at that second wild card, that's huge.
All right, who's in the starting lineups tonight in this first game between Cleveland and Cincinnati of the season? We have the answer for you coming up in just a few moments. Plus, what are 3 keys for the Indians to get a win over the Cincinnati Reds here today at Progressive Field? That answer as well. Don't go anywhere. Indians Live is brought to you by GMC. Visit your Northern Ohio GMC dealer for a test drive today. And by AT&T. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world. Crazy play yesterday in baseball. The Diamondbacks and the Pirates in Arizona. Bottom of the 10th, runners at the corners, tie game. Pirates try to turn the double play, and look what happens.
Walk-off interference.
Thanks for coming.
Nick
Bustin' 45.
Ahmed, he slid in. Jason Nix.
I'll drive home safely.
Now, they didn't review this at the moment. They looked at it later, and they said there was no interference there. He's just sliding in.
See, for me, if you've got that play at home, where can he be blocking home plate? I mean, can't you have the same thing going into second?
You would think so.
I guess so.
But at the same time, it's natural ability. When you slide, you put your hands up. That's what they teach you.
All right, let's get back to this ball game here today. The Indians, the Reds. Corey Kluber on the hill tonight for the Indians, and this guy I mean, he should have been an all-star. He is no doubt the ace of this staff right now.
He's averaging under 15 pitches per inning and under 2 walks per 9 innings pitched. That says it all right there for me.
Indians lineup for you. Nick Swisher is out today. He had to leave yesterday's game early with the injured hand. He is day today. And replacing him, we'll get to that in a moment. First, the Reds lineup for you. Jack Hanahan, our old friend. He's the DH today, but he's 0 for 9.
Yeah, the middle of the lineup for me, Todd Frazier and Devin Mesoraco. You're missing the 2 big boys in Joey Votto and Brandon Phillips.
All right, let's get a look at who's on the hill for the Reds. When he was in Baltimore, he was Alfredo Simon. With Cincinnati, he's Alfredo Simon.
Yeah, and this kid is very good this season. Power sinker. Guy throws it between 92 and 94. Has a very good breaking ball and a good understanding of how to throw ground balls.
Here's the Indians lineup for you. That note is still good. Chris Dickerson is the DH today instead of Swisher.
Well, the biggest thing for the Indians tonight, get the ball up in the zone a little bit, have the approach of a lefty, going the other way, letting the ball get as deep as you can.
3 keys now for an Indians win today. The GMC On Deck Circle, brought to you by your Northern Ohio GMC dealers. First up for the Tribe, all Corey Kluber has to do is be Corey Kluber.
He can really put an exclamation point on this homestand and especially get the Ohio Cup off to an Indian start.
Second key for the Indians, pile up the hits. When they out-hit their opponent, they're nearly impossible
Let's
to beat.
just see him get a ton of hits tonight. That's all we got to say.
And finally, win the first game of the series, because when the Indians do that, they generally win the series. 12-1-2 when they win game 1.
Keep it very simple, fellas. Score more runs than the other team.
That sounds outstanding.
Score early, too.
Score early, score more than the other team. There you go. That's all the analysis
Easy
you
as
need.
pie. Let's do it.
All right, for Jensen and Jason and Katie, I'm Al. Thanks for watching Indians Live. Matt Underwood and Rick Manning are next with the call of the game. Tribe and Reds from Progressive Field. Have a good one.